Welcome back to another episode of Strategic Counseling in Complex Relationships, where we examine strategies to mitigate the tension in problematic relationships. In previous sessions, we watched as our strategic counselors navigated the roller coaster relationship between Kanye and Kim. Then we watched our turtleneck-clad counselors dispatched overseas to deal with the struggles between the EU and the UK. And today, we have yet another complex relationship requiring strategic intervention. Today's session centers on a couple that has been experiencing tension for what seems like hundreds of years, the uneasy marriage between U.S. civilian leadership and the U.S. military profession. Apparently, there's been some recent talk about military leaving this relationship. Let's see if we can discern from a recent counseling session what long-standing unresolved issues might be causing the tension between these two parties, and then we'll move on to some possible strategic interventions.
I'm getting a little fed up with this game you like to play. Every time I do something that isn't quite the way you do it or rubs you the wrong way, I start to hear these murmurs, quiet whisperings from your little friends that you're thinking about leaving.
What are you talking about? I've never said anything about leaving. When did I ever say anything about leaving? Did you ever hear me talking about leaving?
Oh no, you don't say anything. I don't get that courtesy. I have to read about it in the morning papers or the blogosphere or some kiss and tell book. But don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you don't use the word leaving. You say things like resignation in protest, or your little friends say revolt to the generals. I call it disloyalty. Don't play dumb with me.
So what's wrong with that? I do have half a brain, and I do have feelings. I don't have a vote. My voice doesn't count. You sit there and think I'm going to go along with every single policy decision you come up with just because I'm subordinate. You don't know what it's like listening to all your happy little speeches thanking me for my service, then having to deal with the real you behind closed doors.
Two things. First of all, you are subordinate. Second, I really do try to listen to you. But at the end of the day, somebody's got to take a lead in this relationship. I mean, you have read the Constitution. You do remember that vow we took back in 1775.
Yeah, but that vow didn't say that I couldn't resign. So don't assume that I'll always be your doormat. And don't think that you can't push me too far. Because someday, if you push me too far, you're going to wake up and all you're going to find is a goodbye note and my stars on your pillow.
There you go again, threatening to leave. You won't leave. What kind of example would that set for your subordinates? Would quitting accomplish anything? You can't leave. You won't leave.
Now hold on here. Let me clear up some things before we continue. Civilian, you do understand that military can leave. Even if you don't want it to happen, they really can resign. They have the right to do that no matter what you think, no matter what you say. You can't take that right away. So you're really not helping this relationship by constantly assuming that resignation and protest can't or won't happen.
Yeah, I get that.
About time we got some truth around here.
And military. Do you realize your constant threats to leave aren't very productive? It poisons this relationship from the start. Who wants to wake up every morning and hear, you know, I could leave if I want to? And do you know when the last time someone resigned, and I mean resigned, not retired, in protest? It was over 50 years ago. And within 2 years, they asked to have it reversed. So yes, you can resign. But you're not helping this relationship by constantly bringing up resignation as a viable option, or by passing along this salute or resign false dichotomy in all the civ-mil classes ranging from cadets and pre-commissioning to colonels at the War College. I think what this relationship needs is some mutual respect. You're both adults. This relationship has been going on for a long while, and sure, you don't see everything eye to eye, but I think some respect is in order here.
Respect? The only time I get any respect from them is when they want something. You know, like every Thursday night when you get all sweet and you want me to meet you in the Situation Room. Other than that, you can't even give me the courtesy of respecting my rank when I'm walking through the halls of the White House. And all your little whiz kids, they treat me like I'm some out-of-touch old codger straight out of a nursing home. You know, sometimes I think you really believe that I am a card-carrying member of the opposition party, secretly out to get you. And other times I think you believe that I'm just like you, and you don't realize that the decisions you make cut at who I am and what I believe in. After all these years, I still don't think you really appreciate how much I put into this relationship.
Respect? How about respect for my decisions? Sometimes I don't even think it's that you don't like my decisions. I think it just bothers you that I haven't worn the uniform. I don't know, sometimes it feels like you value me as much as society does. I mean, have you seen my poll ratings? I'm down there with telemarketers and Wall Street bankers. You don't think that eats away at me? But you, oh, the military, everybody loves you when things are going well. A hostage rescue, a high-value target killed, some movie or book comes out, usually by a Navy SEAL, and everybody gets all teary-eyed and starts waving flags. But when things go bad, senior officer scandal, maybe a strategic failure, you're Teflon. The blame rolls right off of you and onto me for putting you in that situation in the first place. I think after all these years, I don't think you appreciate how much I put into this relationship.
I hear you both saying that you each appreciate some respect from the other. So let me ask this. What do you appreciate about the other? Civilian, why don't you start? Now don't look at me. Look at military.
Well, I do appreciate that you generally do what I ask you to do. And I get it. You're deployed all around the world. You've been fighting war for 15 years, and you're eager to take on more missions. And you only cost me $579 billion a year.
And I appreciate that you give me the latitude to execute the mission. Too bad that mission includes doing the work of every other government agency, all without the extra resources and personnel.
Resources? Do we really want to talk money? I think we would both have to acknowledge that whether we're at peace or whether we're at war, you're always asking for more money. I know, it's for OCO. It's always for OCO. There's a part of me that thinks you don't even understand the linkage between strategy and resources.
Did you say strategy? I'm sorry, I didn't think you knew what that was. For a while, I thought the only strategy you knew was using me as one big social experiment.
Social experiment? This from the organization that took 20 years to get on board with repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, when every like-minded ally had gay service for decades with no negative impact.
Yeah, now you drop transgender on me. So much for the absence of a slippery slope. I wish you were as fast at avoiding sequestration as you are at all this social experimentation stuff. I hate it when you make this relationship so political.
Political? Who's being political when every 4 years your military retiree friends show up on the convention stage to endorse their political candidate? They look nice and distinguished in their matching dark suits and power ties. But don't you think that's being a wee bit political?
Wait just a minute. You can't hold me responsible for retirees. I mean, sure, we're related, but they're not in a uniform and they don't live under my roof. I do not control them and I don't answer for what they say. Besides, who always invites them up to be stage props anyway? Not me.
Okay, I hear each of you bringing some good points and some not so good points into this discussion. But let me ask this question. Are you both committed to making this marriage work? I mean, are you both working towards making this relationship beneficial to the nation? Sure, it may require sacrifice on both your parts, but isn't the defense of the nation the overall goal? Are you committed? Do you want to go for it? Civilian?
Yeah, I'm committed.
Military?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, you're both in this together. Let's keep that in mind. Second, let's knock off this talk about resigning in protest. Military. You know you and civilian work out 90% of the issues that come up. Nobody ever makes a big deal when you compromise to come to a decision. So let's not make a federal case about the 10% of the times you disagree. And let's tell your academic and media friends to lay off giving you advice on handling dissent. You and civilian are a team. Let's act like it. And civilian. Even though military is subordinated to you, don't let that go to your head. Don't flaunt it. As a matter of fact, it should be a rare occasion when that even comes up. And both of you, let's work on getting those retired flag officers to stop endorsing political candidates. It's hurting the profession, it's confusing the public, and it's making this marriage worse. Look, we can hold up this relationship, this marriage, and we could study all its flaws. We could talk about all the times you got annoyed, rehash all the injustices. Or we could work together to making this marriage work. So what will it be?
Civilian, can I give you a salute?
Well, I'd like that.
Oh, no, wait. You got to keep your arms straight like that. Hey, we're commissioning a new DDG next week. Maybe we can name it after you.
That would be wonderful. And then maybe we can talk about BRAC.
Well, that concludes today's episode on the relationship between civilian and military. It's not a perfect marriage, but none are. It will require plenty of hard work, but I'm confident that it will thrive and struggle for centuries to come. In our next episode, we'll examine the ever-evolving relationship between the active and reserve component. Until then, stay strategic.
Yeah, but that vow didn't say that I couldn't resign. Don't think that I'll just. But hold on, give me a second.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Like every Thursday night, when you get all sweet. Oh man.
When things are going well, a movie comes out or how did I go there? I don't even
I
know.
know you've never messed that line up.
No.
No. No.
Yeah. I think we both have to acknowledge that whether we're at peace or whether we're at war, you're always asking for more. It's Friday afternoon. I know. I don't ever screw up.
Today's session centers on the. Let's get these military. Daggone it. It's retired flag officers. I gotta say that, not military. That was a good one?
That was really good.
No, perfection. Regardless of the cost to you.